What was that?
I don't know.
Did you get it? Is it gone?
I think so. I think so.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Rapid Fire Review, an airsoft gun review show brought to you by the people at PyramidAir.com. And I'm your host, Barry Goodband.
I'm Nick Miller, and today we're going to be reviewing the Colt 1911 CO2 pistol.
All right, so when you open up the box, you're going to find the gun itself, a 24-round double-stack magazine, and the Allen wrench for tightening your CO2.
You'll also find the manual with instructions on cleaning, disassembly, and how to load your gun properly. So now Barry's going to show us a few of the external features of this gas blowback pistol. Barry?
All right, well, the first thing's going to catch your attention are the trademarks here from the Colt Firearms Manufacturing Company and the U.S. Army. Now, this overall, its weight and feel is absolutely a beautiful representation of the Colt M1911 that was used by our United States military for so many years. And it really, really is well done by KJW.
Exactly. KJW manufactured it, and Cybergun was actually the company that obtained the trades from Colt Manufacturing. You might see it under different names, on different websites. Cybergun gets the trades, KJW puts the gun together. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the safety features of this gun, Barry?
This gun actually has a number of safety features. The first and most obvious one here is your thumb safety, but you're also going to notice that that won't engage unless the gun's been cocked. Just like any other gas blowback gun, or just like the real thing, we've got a fully operating slide here. You slide it all the way to the rear, and that's going to bring the gun to be fully cocked. You can now engage that thumb safety. This is also not going to allow the slide to move, so you don't wind up double feeding your weapon when it's already loaded. The next safety feature we're going to take a look at here is the handle safety. It's back here where the meat of your hand goes against the gun, and this is not going to allow the gun to be fired. As I'll show you, I'll take it off this thumb safety and try that trigger. That hammer is not going to go anywhere without a human hand actually in a proper firing position on the gun. Now when you depress the trigger, the hammer will fly forward.
Another cool safety feature about this weapon is the half cock. It's a throwback to older firearms. Flintlock rifles, when you're loading them, you'd half cock them so that you could load it and it wouldn't accidentally go off while you're doing so. This gas blowback pistol has the same feature. You can half cock it, and even though the thumb or the grip safety is engaged, won't fire. It's a great option for a safe carry. You know, you've got it in your holster. When you draw it, it won't go off. If you want it to fire, full cock that hammer, grip it right, and you're ready to rock and roll. Another cool feature about this gun are the low-profile military sights. You notice that they're low right to the gun, high speed, low drag. You know, you pulling it out of your holster, it's not going to catch on any of the straps of your vest, any gear that you may have. So it's just you bring it up and you're ready to go.
You know, something that I had heard from some combat veterans from actual combat is when they were going to be drawing this piece, it was going to be a pretty close combat situation, and they weren't even really going to need the sights very much. So a lot of these older guys would get a file out and just take that front sight blade completely off, allowing them just to get that tiny tick out, a little bit more speed on drawing the pistol.
Exactly. All right, so now we're going to break this pistol down and show you a few of the upgraded internals that allow it to fire on the higher pressure CO2.
All right, so we've gotten the gun broken down on the table here, and Nick's going to go through the internal parts and some of the upgraded features for us.
All right, so we've got it broken down into the slide and gas blowback chamber, outer barrel, inner barrel, and hop-up assembly, barrel bushing, spring plug, recoil spring, and spring guide, and the slide catch. Now you'll notice that the blowback chamber is red, and that's a good way that manufacturers will let you know that it's upgraded. Most of the times you'll find that it's black or maybe even blue, but the red ones are higher grade. They're more reinforced so they can handle the higher pressures of CO2. You'll also have your barrel assembly. You'll notice that this is where you adjust your hop up. It's a little wheel. When this is all assembled, it's easier to do. But this little wheel here, you roll it back towards yourself to increase the hop up, away from you to decrease the hop up. And we've also got this upgraded recoil spring. The recoil spring has to be just a little bit tougher so it can handle the higher pressures of the CO2 gas blowback. And you'll notice here that we have the lower receiver, or the frame. Now I'm going to put this all together, and when we get back, Barry's going to show us a little bit about that CO2 mag, how to insert the powerlet, and how to load it.
All right, so I'm going to show you how to load a CO2 into this thing and get it ready to shoot. First thing you're going to do is pull the plug off the bottom of the magazine here.
There you go, Barry.
Thank you, sir. Slide your CO2 powerlet down in there. Get your cap back on and tighten it down.
All right, and another thing that we wanted to talk about now that we're talking about the magazine is this lanyard ring. You can use it to attach a lanyard retention system, so if it's in your holster and it pops out, it's attached to your body, you won't lose it when you're out in the field. Here you go, Barry.
All right, so as you may have figured, magazine goes right into the handle of the weapon here, locks into position, it's good and tight, not going anywhere on you, and the magazine release is right here to the rear of the trigger housing. Just press that in, it slides right out, no problem.
All right, now that we've gone over everything, Barry, why don't we take this out to the range, see how it performs?
Let's do that.
All right.
All right, we're out here at the range now, and we're gonna put the Colt 1911 in the chrono and see what we get out of her. I'm gonna show you how to load BBs into the magazine here, and you're just gonna pull your follower down, and you can drop BBs in right through a port here. The port's pretty big, easy to drop things in. Make sure you get your stack lined up properly.
And we're using 0.25 gram biodegradable BBs today.
Well, there we go.
All right, here you go, Barry. 275, 282, 282, 285, 282, and 275. All right, not bad.
Pretty consistent.
Yeah. All right.
Got a clicker on safe there for you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Barry.
Take a shot at our target down here. Now our target's 30 feet away, and Nick's going to show us how she does.
Okay. There we go. And double fed on that last one. Too bad, but
a little bit high into the right there, but the group is nice. The group is nice and tight. Not bad.
Appreciate that, Barry. All right. All right. Well, why don't we head back inside and give our final thoughts?
Let's do that.
Okay.
All right, we're back inside here now. Nick, why don't you tell us what you thought overall about the Colt 1911 CO2 blowback?
All right, well, the first thing that I really want to touch on is the CO2 blowback. It is crisp, it is hard, and honestly, you run on CO2, it's going to be reliable. You know that every time you pull the trigger, it's going to blow back, even in the wintertime, and the FPS is really consistent. You know, it's going to run around 300 every single time, and that's what I love about this gun. It's really reliable.
Absolutely. My favorite thing about this is the history that is behind the real counterpart to this gun. In 1911, John Browning just created an absolute masterpiece of a firearm. The simplicity, the usability of this piece in close quarters situations. It has been in service with our military for almost 100 years now. As a matter of fact, next year I'll be celebrating right along with Colt and John Browning's Ghost as we celebrate 100 years of this piece on the battlefield with the military. Absolutely one of my favorite guns we've looked at yet.
Awesome, awesome.
And I think that's about all the time we've got for it. But you guys keep your eyes open because we'll be back in the near future with another cool gun from PyramidAir.com. Until then, I'm your host, Barry Goodband.
And I'm Nick Miller. And remember, if you have any questions at all, feel free to email us at rapidfirereview@pyramidair.com.
Also, one more thing, guys, before we go, I want to remind you that airsoft guns are realistic copies of actual firearms. So always remember to play safely and responsibly, and we'll see you guys on the field.
Do not remove the federally required orange marking from your gun. Treat airsoft guns the same as firearms. Assume a gun is loaded, even if you know it's unloaded. Never shoot at someone who isn't wearing proper eye protection. Never brandish your gun in public, and always transport it in a case. Do not point an airsoft gun at anyone as a joke. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Do not use airsoft guns to shoot at, discipline, or injure animals. Know the laws regarding airsoft guns and their use.